going. We are live. All right. Welcome, everybody, to Streams of Spero. I am Benito, your humble DM. And as you can see on this chapter, it looks like a very reduced cast. And I wish to apologize. It is our good friend Jacob has felt very severely ill today. And as this is planned to be our finale, he was unable to make the game. And because I had a couple other players sort of in the background for other things and that hinged on that, I allowed them to bow out, knowing that I couldn't really focus on them. They all agreed with a very long weekend that was fine and okay with. Very polite for them, and I'm very grateful for their understanding to the situation. Sometimes, as they say, the show still must go on, and we want to make sure this event happens because there's other chapters to this thing going on. But I still have 3 amazing players still remaining. I'll let them introduce themselves and who they're playing to our final chapter of the War of the Garden. And Jen.
I'm Jen, and I am playing Cascade Brine, Captain of the Heart of the Mermaid. The last time I get to say that.
Wow, I just actually read your guys' descriptions near your names.
Josh just changed his.
I know. This is why it's amazing. Art.
Oh, wow. I'm jealous of you guys actually these huge titles. Wow. I'm Art. I'm playing Samalis, the former captain of the guard, for the guy who's sick. So, you know, that's it.
And Josh.
I'm Josh. I'm playing Electo Galanis, the, I suppose, former captain of the Heart of the Mermaid and the current captain of the Friends Left Behind.
Okay, he's finally, although the title says otherwise, he's admitting where his heart now has gone, which is the interesting aspect of the ship. As you remember, I am Benito, I'm your DM, as I mentioned, so let's recap where we are in this Streams of Spero. So, kind of going into the beginning, we have remembered that the heroes, which have been dubbed Titans of the Gods of Silk, have splintered off into the world of Spero to deal with a lot of events that they remember happening as they were getting the Silk Stones to become the Titans that they are, and summoning her to this realm. And we found that she was brought forth as well with a friend of hers, the Raven Queen, some part of an Alanis deity pantheon that has been established before, but now they are breaking through. And when they arrived, they took a war to the old gods almost immediately as Hermes showed up to tell them to the heroes, the Titans, what they have done, and it was the Raven Queen who slew Hermes in cold blood. So the heroes have splintered off, Samalis and Cascade, taking on a lot of things that were happening in the Garden of Gaia, and which has been dubbed this campaign the War of the Garden, is because King Azerian, the person they left in Sfazo, had renamed the city to New Greyheim, an image that apparently is from his long, long reign in the Alanis realm that he seems to have come back for. He wasn't the very end of his lineage, of his life, from where that was. It apparently was near his height when he was brought back to life, way back in our live tabletop days that Electo and Samalis were a part of. So he became now new king of Sfazo, renamed it, married a princess of the city that the group from the live group actually saved. So history unrecorded to anything on YouTube on the Spectre Studios channel. So with all that, they found out that this king was known to be one of the most strategic, brilliant minds, a war general like no other Alanis has ever seen. Simply the most ruthless and cunning that the realm has ever known in many, many years. That allowed him to apparently conquer 2 of the other human kingdoms in the Garden of Gaia, which had never really been done. And he destroyed one and renamed it Hollowdale, conquering another, naming that one Ashengate. And this seems like to be soon that the other ones would fall to his bidding. But there were heroes in Kylos, those that did free some of these champions of Silk or Hades for their collaboration when things happen. And he ended up possessing some of these relic blades that were also known from Alanis. And Killian rose to become king, surpassing his father, supplementing him, and taking on the faith of Ra, one of these gods that come from her pantheon. So they seem to have a bit of a blessing. And Cascade seems to be touching to the earth and the call of the Raven Queen, or maybe the magic of silk. She has some connection to these pantheons, as she is one of their titans. And that seems to be setting the king at bay. But regardless of all these abilities to start to slowly oppose him, they knew that they could not really stop the king and New Greyheim from defeating the entire realm and conquering all those cities within. So a desperate plan was finally formed. They would go, meet with King Azerian, and tempt him with a place that was named for his ancestors. To go back to a realm that his very, very, very late grandfather once held, retreated from, or left, and never accomplished any deeds there. A legacy that his name, it seemed, couldn't let go if he was a true Greystoke, as all the legends and the lore that we have been studying for have told us about this King Azerian. That's the plan. So he's taken them to court, he's allowed them to come in, but he hasn't been there yet. Only the Queen has entertained our heroes. She has slowly talked to each of them. She's possibly calculating and learning weaknesses, potentials, their motives. We're unsure. But Cascade had a chance to check the city, despaired, hoping to see ruin, destruction, chaos, legions of undead. Instead, she finds law, order, discipline, loyalty, and perseverance. The people are thriving. Some of these gods have, yes, indeed, been destroyed and removed from the city's presence, but in an overall sense, especially to a druid, things do not seem ill at all. And she's conflicted on the choices of things going on. Samalis, of course, is ready to do duty. He hates the gods, and he's ready to see some type of change happen one way or another. But he is here to make sure all are able to accomplish the goal and get out alive. And at last, Alecto, willing to take on one more quest for a city that he has helped, a king he has helped many times before, leaving his own wife and daughter behind, trying to maintain a future to a place that he loves, a resource that he enjoys sailing to, knowing that there will be things that the rest of the realm could use. He is willing to champion as an admiral of Jacksonport to make sure that this will be a haven in the future. We will see if our three heroes can indeed convince King Azerian to make this desperate choice and make sure that the realm of the Garden of Gaia, this area, will have a bright future instead of a dark one. For our old Alanis players, remember how dark things can actually get. The night has passed. You guys had time to dine. You had time to rest. Check things out a little bit. Cascade explored the city. You are hoping again tonight you will actually see the king. But again, you're at the mercy whenever he chooses to arrive. As the queen has said that he is on his way, but he is doing a special task. And he's trying to come back as soon as possible, she has claimed. So the three of you, breakfast, clean, gathered in a small area where your rooms connect, may discuss any more events that you'd wish to go over as the days continue to progress, and you're anxiously waiting to spring your trap.
We're not springing a trap. Yeah. We're coming to him with a legitimate offer, which I think. Ben, will the three of us have a chance to have breakfast together? Like,
sure.
As far as we know, outside of the prying eyes of other people.
Well,
as much as I mean, we're in their castle, so like we should assume that whatever we're saying is being listened to.
Yeah, you can I would basically say you could do it with in the common area. There would be no guards to give you a little bit of leeway, but you guys kind of know that there's just too much arcane, and if these guys are supernatural as they claim, I just want you to know that you probably wouldn't be shocked if you were being overheard.
The illusion of privacy. Yeah.
Correct.
I can actually attempt to give us actual privacy. I have private
Okay.
sanctum that I can cast.
Okay.
I think it would make sense for us to go ahead and connect in the morning to make sure that we know what our plan is. So
Okay. Yeah.
we can try to accommodate.
Here's the problem, though. If I cast that, I don't cast Gate Seal today.
Do we need to cast it today?
If I'm leaving with him today, Gate Seal needs to be cast today.
So then let us, when we treat with King Azerian, let us do so under the banner of honesty and truth, and say, this morning the three of us wished to discuss privately, and that took the. Oh, but we don't. That's right. He doesn't know that. Right. That's the. Is that the rug being pulled out? Is that we're going to seal the gate behind him?
Not really.
Yep.
The goal is to seal. So Cascade is going to plane shift him,
Yes.
and I'm assuming that this Dread Realm is going to leave a hole for him to come back through. And the goal is to seal that gate behind him so that he can't be tempted to come back.
Okay. So then, if he's agreeable to the plan, you would be able to go ahead and cast it tomorrow, right? After you've.
Well, the reason why Simalis wants to, and this is all with you out talking. This would be before you left from the castle of Kylos. The problem that you guys arose, and this is just a refresher again, of course, is the fact that, as Simalis has said, or Art has said, that you're afraid that the realm is going to do the business. It's not Azerian. Right. So the sealing the gate basically cuts the Dread Realm from existence in the Garden of Gaia, meaning it would be dissolved. So, so his Dread Realm is now in the pocket wherever he is and would reform to Alanis, or if that thread is still there, which you believe Alanis is still existing, it just kind of pushes him back into the container and definitely seals. If you waited till the day after, you just think the Dread Realm, because so much is going on in the Garden of Gaia, could misform him back. It could do a bunch of things like that.
Sure.
Would be a little.
I mean, what I'm saying is we can wait to cast plane shift when you have gate available, if he's agreeable to the plan. We don't have to do both of them. We don't have to do one of them today and then the other one tomorrow. We could do both of them tomorrow.
Yes.
If you regain your ability to seal the gate. If we really think Private Sanctum is worth it. Like that's...
Is Private Sanctum not a ritual?
It's a 10-minute cast. It's not a... wait a minute. Actually, hold on.
Because if it is ritual, you could cast it without using a spell slot.
Without using a spell slot.
That Private Sanctum does not have a ritual.
Not a ritual?
component.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but Josh is right. You could, if he's willing, put it off another day and say, well, can we plan this tomorrow afternoon?
I don't think that Azerian would do anything impulsively. I think that he would consider his options.
You think he'll want to take the evening anyway?
I think it depends on when you talk to him.
Well, that's what I mean. He's probably not going to meet us at noon.
Right.
Vampire he's a vampire, so he's not going to. He's just not comfortable. So.
Yeah. I imagine that we would be meeting him for dinner, which means that at dinner tomorrow night would be a perfectly acceptable time to conduct the ritual. Give him the day to see to his affairs before he leaves. I don't know.
Rest up after his long travels.
Right.
Here's the thing. If we actually feel like there's something for us to discuss, like honestly, like I feel like we're pretty good on the plan. The plan's pretty straightforward. But I
also think that from what little, Ben, tell me if I'm out of line going too far here. From what little we've done getting to know these Dread Realms, I think if it wants him to know something, it will.
Yeah. The Dread Realms are stronger than your magic, anyway.
Right. It will weaken my magic to make sure he knows what he wants it to know. It wants him to know. Yeah.
Yeah, but you think because this is not the real plane, that because again, the old gods have more sway. But if the new gods do something, then maybe your theory is correct.
You know what? I want to leave my I'm just gonna put it this way. I want access to that spell in case shit hits the fan.
Okay.
Okay.
I've only got one slot at that level, so.
Yep. Then I don't think we need the privacy. I think we're good.
Okay.
The plan is straightforward enough. It's not really a plan as much as a discussion, as an option.
Yep.
He's either going to go for it or he's not.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be able to strong arm him into it.
Does anybody want to talk about anything else before just waiting, I guess?
Would we have been allowed any sort of, like in small talk with the Queen, if we'd had messages? Here we go. I would, when we were talking with the Queen, remind her that I'd been away from my family for some time, and with the communication channels being what they were, ask if she might be able to deliver a parcel to my family.
Like a regular mail,
Not personally, yeah, but like if she would have the ability to give to her forces any ability to get a parcel to my family.
Yeah. Give me an Arcana check, please, though.
That's a 15.
Okay. I'm gonna put this dilemma in your lap. If Ismay is what you think she is another vampire, you're sort of sending an invitation to your home. One way, one physical way or another, in terms of either magical or physical.
Yep.
Do you think Electa would do that?
So actually, this information about Ismay being a vampire is new.
We don't know it. We just
Right.
think
So
it.
what was leading us to like Josh didn't know this. So what was leading Electo? What is leading Electo to that conclusion?
I would probably say I thought in some aspect. I'll just do a refresher thing. Remember that.
I didn't think it had been discussed, but yeah.
Well, maybe not. I guess. Your other generals would have assumed, because of who he is and what he's done, that there are similar vampire thralls or something around.
Sure.
He would be in service to him. I mean, that is a. I mean, again, Electo is world, and this is not just for the generals. Electo is well traveled, so
Sure.
vampire lords aren't new. So that doesn't put Azerian unique. So because of that, you know that they usually have thralls. There are the vampire brides, classic, but you only see one with Ismay.
Sure.
He has not pushed any other around. But you'd assume that he would still have thralls. Like most vampire lords, and that's, God, I'm going to say you feel 90% sure that at least
it's a reasonable possibility that she's been.
So if she is, there's a good chance that each of them's royal guard, the actual guards, at least one or more of those members would be thralls to Dampiers. In your understanding.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. Nope.
On the other hand, he couldn't have any more children and further his line if he did turn her into a vampire. He could possibly have a Dampier, and that's a thing. Wanting to have the line.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? He may have already had a child at one point in the past. No one knows.
Well, and in the histories that we looked up when we were researching him.
Well played, Art.
Wasn't his original bride mortal?
Yes.
And as far as the histories are told, remained mortal, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's kind of where I'm going. It's like I'm not sure that it necessarily would have thought to Electo that.
But remember, Ismay is a little quirky because she was dead for a while. Because she got pulled from the Hades, so she's sort of weird in the sense that she's been reborn in an aspect because of what her trials were.
Right, fair enough.
I don't assume that Augustus's name ever popped up in any of the histories.
Well, Cascade, because I flashed everything in her. Oh, did I flash it in your head? I thought I did too. Both of you may roll histories. Both of you may roll histories. If you roll high enough, the DC will be 15. You would know he would have a son.
19.
You know.
So it was mentioned in the writings that he did have a son, He was a PC. He was a pain in the ass. Always had to keep drinking his cousin's blood.
Hey. You know.
Man, Lee had it rough in that campaign. He was the human Greystoke, I was the half-elven Greystoke, and you were the half-vampire Greystoke.
That's correct. I'm looking to see if I even have.
Not that Electo amounted to anything.
I don't really recall. That one was, I don't know, that one was funny because I don't remember exactly what I had you guys doing when you were playing Augustus.
It was trying. We were trying to save Azerian. We were trying to bring him back. Azerian at the time was in control of Khazgarath.
Oh, so was that was when Matt was playing Tomas?
Yes.
That was when Matt was playing Tomas.
Okay,
yeah.
so that is an interesting. That would actually make that relevant to you then, Art. Thank you guys. My mind goes sometimes. That would allow you to understand that thread to the Helm of Alignment Change, which you guys were studying prior before this as well.
So I can remember that the heroes convinced him to use the Helm of Alignment Change? Or do you want another roll?
I thought it was a trickery. It was another trick. He didn't do it as willingly.
Don't remember what Matt did. I just know they convinced him to.
Yeah, I believe that was a trick, but what Tomas did with Silk, which again would all come to your light because of your roll, 19, would put a lot of that history in your head for those events.
I don't remember what Matt did with Silk.
That's when Tomas built, like, near basically the end, Tomas put the church in play. He was like, hey, if this is how she operates, and she's tied to a god, the godhood, then she's tied to followers, and I'm going to change the belief. And so he started convincing people that she's the goddess of magic, and she's not evil if you don't make her. And a number of cult people fell in line, and that's why there are churches of Silk, because those churches are not actual evil churches, and that's something you can use in old ways.
Right.
Those are all good churches, exclusively left by the legacy of Tomas Lakewell.
Wow, a moment where I can't say "damn it, Tomas."
You can't say damn it, Tomas.
No, you would have said "damn it, Tomas" in this campaign a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he doesn't want to go back to Alanis, that gives us a backup plan.
Well, he's not going back to Alanis. He's going back to.
Oh, sorry. The Forgotten Realms.
Forgotten Realms. He's going back to Cormyr.
Cormyr. Yep.
Cormyr.
Yeah, in the realm of Faerun, yes.
So if he doesn't want to go back to Cormyr, we could tell him of this history that we know. That if you're going to be here, you can be greater than you are and push yourself away from the darkness by ascending to godhood yourself as a god of tactics and battle. I mean,
But how could we get him there? Basically by doing the same thing that Tomas did with Silk. Convince people to follow him
and convince him to take a more good bent rather than his brutal reign now. I mean, he's cursed to be the greatest Greystoke, and that's greater than he is now.
Yep. Greystokes only think they're gods. They're not normally.
Well, he is the greatest Greystoke of all of them. He may not be the most popular, but he is the greatest.
Just because he is the greatest doesn't mean he can't be greater.
No, that's true. And that is the curse to his mindset.
Alright.
I don't terribly mind that last plan.
Do you prefer it to the original? Do you think it's a greater chance of success?
No, I think it's a lower chance of success.
Okay.
But they both play upon his ego.
Yep. Okay.
And if he's willing to drop his brutality and his use of undead hordes, sacking towns, turning their masses to undead, I would be willing to help it because I have a huge. When I would pray to gods, I would pray to Athena, even though she never answered my call. So, if he were to take that role as one of the new gods, be somebody I respected. I just can't follow these brutal ways.
Okay.
Okay, so now Jen's confused. Which plan are we going with?
The plan we started with is Plan A. The one we just outlined is Plan B.
Okay.
It's sort of the same plan, but the convincing is the fact that they're going to try to make him believe he can become a god.
In Plan B.
Okay.
Are we
Which
good?
that thought process may have just doomed all Spero players going forward, if that's what Ben likes more.
Well, depends if he gets back. This could be something I have to do with multiverse.
Have to be what?
Multiverse. If he's in Faroon, that's not a problem for you. That's the whole plan of this.
Oh, I don't mind that. If he goes to Pharaoh, I'm good with that.
Okay. All right, so you guys will wait.
One thing, while we're at it, I'm going to assume that King Killian would be tied up in meetings with the Queen. I would ask if we could be given a tour of this city to see what it looks like, see what it's about, if they're willing, like an official diplomatic tour.
Okay. I'll do some briefs. As you can see below, that is
And since Cass has already been on it, so to speak.
well, you flew around it. You didn't really know what they were though, and you found temples. You can identify temples, but you don't know a lot of the things that you see. The only thing I will say that I never told you is this. You can see my black arrow. That center circle there is a huge coliseum. That.
No, you did tell me I saw one.
Yeah, okay. So the Colosseum is right there, which is next to the actual estate house. The big triangle right there is the huge fortified sort of noble's house.
I would assume I would actually have known about the Colosseum being there, though. That's
Yes.
probably been there forever.
Yeah, everyone would have saw it, especially when you got brought there. I want to kind of go with that. You will also know that... Okay. You will know that that triangle, the big triangle right there, that's the royal estate. It is known as the Earthheart House.
Huh.
It was formerly known as Hephaestus Hall. So again, King Azerian has changed it.
Interesting.
I will
Interesting
also
to old Alana players. Yeah.
I will also allow you each to roll an investigation.
Natural 20 for a 22.
God
17.
damn.
12.
All right, so at Cascade, you flying around a lot, heard a lot of talking and buzzing about people, things like that. So in the palace, you see a number of men. They wear simple white tabards, a cloth, but they wear the very Greek shields, and they are blood red with a tapestry that hangs below them. They are known as the Red Curtain, which has been, I think, mentioned priorly before. They're pretty much predominantly the only ones that guard the actual Earthheart House, from what you've seen. As you've went around the town, there has rumor, though, that there are two other royal forces that the king uses. His group, a group that apparently are very well trained, but you don't know exactly where they are in the city. They were called the Twilight Stormtroopers. So it's his personal legion or something that he uses. You're not sure how many men. and another unit of men that you hear talking amongst the castle or whatever, or some of the guards that you swoop by, whatever, because apparently there's operations going on all over the Garden of Gaia, is Razan's Bloodmen.
I heard that one.
So the Twilight Stormtroopers, Razan's Bloodmen, and the Red Curtain are all elite forces to the King and Queen. All right.
Wasn't the Red Curtain the Queen's personal guard?
The Red Curtain is the Queen. Yeah, so the King and Queen, but the Red Curtain is the Queen's guard, more or less.
Right. I remember we talked about that before.
Electa, what did you get for a roll?
Not very much, 7.
And Samalis?
12.
12. Okay.
Look, it's still standing.
You will know that there are several houses, but the only names that you picked up were House Dugnese, Dougnese, and House Gataki, Gataki. But you, there seems to be more houses, but you can only pick up 2 in the talk.
So to all appearances, though, it seems like a normal, thriving major city.
Oh yes, oh yes.
There's not. There doesn't seem to be fear of the city guards as they walk around, or are we looking at the people close the doors as city guards come around and stuff, or is it just normal? The city guards there, people are not doing shady stuff.
There seems to be so in all senses, to make a description good, I gave you the three called elite guards. As you go about the city, and you will be escorted by 4 members of the Red Curtain. But as you move around the city, though, most of the other people you see are basically got men that actually look like Spartans. For the best description for Spartans, my best description to you guys players. So men in bronze type of plate and helms, and red shields with spears or short spears type of thing.
So typical of the garden, basically.
Yes. Well, sort of. Yeah, that is the most. You know, Lockett is more Roman in terms of their appearance.
Okay. But that's very similar to Greek, so.
Yes. So very much that Mediterranean. I would say more that Mediterranean type of aspect there.
If on our tour we walk past them, Cass will at least not try to get their attention and nod towards the temples that were in ruins. I have the names of them. I know which ones they are.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to pretty much skip that, but if you want to go over it again, you may, unless there's anything specifically.
Well, only specifically to Sai, because one of them was Athena's temple.
Yep.
Okay. That helps plan B.
Okay.
Super simple thing. As we're walking down any mercantile district, I buy a shield from someone.
Okay.
To keep right away.
This building right up here is a very large tavern, 3-story building known as the Magnificent King. That's near that east gate over there.
Okay. I don't think we're tavern dweller types, especially with the royal escort. Unless Electo can convince them that he wants to go in there.
Well, I've been known to go to a tavern once or twice. I am, however, in my Admiralty finery, which doesn't bother me either. But would you guys like to go to the tavern? Is that what you're...
No, I'm just saying. Ben pointed out, I'm like, I don't think that's on the regular part of the tour.
Cass will give it a wistful look.
Uh,
She is a sailor at heart. She was raised with sailors. She is completely a sailor.
Well, there's sort
gentlemen, may I ask, what are your orders in regards to us right now?
to give you a tour of the city.
could we
There's a lot to the
convince
city.
you to go on lunch break while we have a moment in the tavern?
Sure. So you guys will.
Would we need to supplement your per diem to ensure that goes smoothly?
No, we'll wait out here.
All right, I will. I'll hand. You said that there are 4 of them.
Yes.
I'll give them 10 gold coins to split between them.
Okay.
Ew.
So
All right.
we'll
so
be out after lunch.
You're going to the Magnificent King, or did you want to be toured around somewhere else?
Nope. I think let's step inside. Let's step
Alright.
inside the tavern that you so carefully named for us.
Well, I'm trying to find places that they would actually hit you because this city is large. There's a lot of freaking taverns. Like, I spent lots of time building taverns that obviously
Yeah.
some you'll never see. Well, never see, but not this group. This structure is supported with beautiful marble pillars from the sides, streams brilliant red tapestries. Once inside, the walls are covered with art and history of New Greyheim / Svazo. They vary in sizes, but they give the room the vibrance of color. The south wall houses a large hearth of dozens of plush pillows surrounded. Their esteemed bards sing and tell tales of the city and beyond. The upper rooms are the sleeping quarters for guests, from what you know, and you kind of hear the buzz that the 3rd floor is like even higher accommodations.
Cass won't look left or right. She'll spot the bar and strike to it and slap a gold down and say, "Ale!"
A gold?
A gold.
Okay. He will definitely give you a tankard of Forstad's finest.
And
I'll,
I'll reduce my 10 gold down to 9.
I'll just glance sideways at Electo and go, I can't remember the last time I actually came into a tavern. I was captain of the King's Guard. We don't usually
welcome.
go places like this.
Enjoy. And Electo will trail behind Cascade and signal the bartender for an ale himself.
Okay. It is a relatively older lady. She's human. She has shoulder-length brown hair, brown eyes. She's in her early 40s. And she will also put ales in front of you guys.
And
she sits,
one for my friend also.
Sure.
Castle lifts to the barman before she takes her first couple. I'll say she's a sailor. She takes a couple gulps.
Okay.
Electo slows a little bit, not quite.
Cascade, you will notice that there are really no other sailors. Excuse me. There are no sailors in here. At all.
She still drinks like one. That doesn't matter much to her.
No, I know. But with this being next to the river and you saw boats and stuff like that, you're now, just to kind of get in context, there are other taverns on the side closest to the water, where this is closest to the land. This is where like the farmland and all that stuff is. So it seems a lot more merchant travelers, stuff like that, coming in. A few of the guards off duty are also there.
She's turned. After that first couple of sips, she's turned and she's doing that lean on the bar and just looking around.
Yep. And that's kind of what you've pushed.
You don't need any sort of insight check to know that Sai is not comfortable.
Okay.
He's out of his element.
The owner
Oh, yeah.
goes, you boys, all right here.
I think it's just been a while since he's been in an establishment of the quality of this one.
I don't often see anybody, well, I should say I've never seen anybody come in here escorted by the Queen's Guard.
It's true. Only very important people, eh?
You must be.
How long have you been here?
How long have I been here?
right.
About a decade. Ever since I retired.
Hell of a retirement.
Scored big. but it cost a lot of me friends.
What'd you retire from?
We killed a dragon.
I mean, what did you do before you retired?
Oh, I ventured. Band of Heroes. We were
What's your specialty?
We were called the Glamour Sisters.
Interesting.
When Sai hears dragon, she killed a dragon, he kind of side eyes her like, okay, I'm Dragon One.
Yep.
I understand they're nasty and evil, but
I played a little bit of the magic, that's for sure. But after most of us were killed from the party, of course the treasure was vast. It was a huge hoard. I didn't have the stomach for it. The money was good, and so I built this tavern.
How has your magic been affected by anything that's been going on here in New Greyhound?
Oh, with all the weird fog and the magic. No, I've been good.
Indeed, the weird fog in the magic. Indeed.
Yeah, no, I've been good. There was a little dip in business for a bit, but things have seemed to like stabilize for sure. Although, tourist season is a bit down.
Alright. Well, a war will do that.
War will do that, especially since we're the aggressors, you know?
So, you probably hear from people coming up to the establishment. How do they want this to resolve?
The people of New Greyheim?
Aye.
Well, we don't want to be destroyed. We've been at war with Kylos for 100 years, it seems. Off and on, territory to territory. Some good parts when the queen died, and then she came back, rescued by the king of Kylos. There was a bit of a reprieve. Then this new man showed and took the throne. There's been some devastating changes to that. Some people have been unnerved with the loss of gods, but you know, in the last few months though, that gospel has changed to many more that believe in the new ones that are taking their place.
Yes, I've heard there's a new someone new at the seat of magic, right?
Yes. This goddess of silk. And many are seeing the Raven Queen, they say, seeing many more in the land and upon the houses, that it is an omen that they are watching for the king.
Watching for the king?
Yeah.
As in, like, the Raven Queen is watching for His Majesty?
I think so. That's what the little gossip says.
Like, in a metaphorical sense, as in she's waiting for the king to arrive, or in a very physical sense, like the next time the king is here?
Well, the king has a wizard. I imagine, you know, with some aspects to that, seems to be one or two of those birds could definitely be his. Do you not know the hierarchy of the royal court?
We're new in town and have not really been able to experience much. What can you tell me about the royal family, about the way the royal household is set up?
Well, many not come to visit, not knowing that. But yeah, that's King Azerian Greystoke that we know. Queen Ismay Hephaestus Greystoke is his queen. But he has a mage called Leandros Hephaestus. And the general of his men.
In relation to his wife?
Yes. Oh, yes. And his general is Ganmedes Hephaestus. All family members of the queen.
What was his first name?
Ganmedes. Ganymedes.
Ben, you need to start naming your NPCs Bob, Tom, and Dick.
These are all based on Greek names.
I know.
And they're all family members of the queen?
Yes.
Installed by His Majesty's choice or Her Majesty's?
I don't know. They have one more. There's another sibling, Cleo. I believe she helps Leandros. So they have magic in their core. It was something that was important against, I remember, against Kylos.
Kalos wasn't particularly magical, was it?
They have a wizard's group.
That's true. The what's their name? The night owl, the black owl, something like that, right?
Yeah, some library over there. I don't remember too much. I never really lived there or visited. But yeah, that's the city. That's the royal court part of that. Amongst those that serve them, that I know of. But I do know they see quite a bit of Priestess Lana McCrary from the Temple of Silk. And I also believe Mariah Vasilidi of the Temple of the Raven Queen visits as well.
Interesting. So this Raven Queen that you say is watching out for the king is maybe not. So not like in a an espionage sort of way, but is more trying to guide him.
I have to watch something. I mean, this is the only city that I know of that temples were destroyed. Their priests were gone.
I drink my beer.
Interesting.
You know
much, my lady. I appreciate the insight.
Well, some of the gossip that just comes spreading around here. I mean, they do have an interesting way of bringing the peace. I mean, before when the other King Hephaestus was in command, it was very diverse in things. But when Azerian came, it wasn't too soon after that High Priest Manoose Xenilis from the Temple of Hades was burnt inside his own temple, and no one was allowed to bring it back.
Burned in his own temple, you say?
All him and all his acolytes.
It's a little harsh, but I don't mind. Priests of Hades.
See? Many of the people feel the same.
Interesting. Nectar will sit back and sip his beer, thinking deeply.
Okay.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'm just looking around. This character's not built for any of this stuff.
All right.
Start a bar fight, I'll clean it out.
Yeah, it's a very well run, peaceful tavern. Definitely the owner seems to have it clean. She's definitely of wealth. So this is probably one of the richest establishments you've ever been in, or even known about.
Cass is disappointed. Is enjoying her ale. It's a lovely, nutty flavor, but she is not. She's a bit disappointed that this is not a more rougher establishment.
Just to kind of put in perspective, there is a merchant that comes in. It looks like you're hearing that he kind of like came up from the east, got through somewhere from Lockett, and he's bringing in goods. You hear him pay for 100 gold for the Queen's room for the night.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I don't know if that was good or bad.
No, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Cass will
Again,
lean over to the barkeep
We lived in
and
a
ask.
castle.
No, well, you can still hear about how things. What were you saying, Cascade?
Cass will lean over to the barkeep and say, "Is she worth it?"
Who's worth it?
Whoever's upstairs in the Queen's room, is she worth it?
Oh no, lass. I'm not running a brothel here. That's just what we call a very high state room, the Queen's room. So if you wish to stay in a room that is made that I would feel elegant for our Queen, it'd cost you 100 gold pieces a night. And I have a King's room is suite as well, and there would be 200 gold pieces a night.
Oh.
But it is the most memorable stay you will ever have if you were to stay in my rooms of those.
Not that memorable.
Cascade's taking her foot out of her mouth now. Oops.
I mean,
her brothels.
Hey, there's not that many taverns she's been to that weren't Dublin.
There were working girls quite a bit where Cascade went.
yeah.
No, I understand completely. It's just amusing.
It just wasn't heroin, right?
Well, Sai, I think we have probably discomforted you enough, unless we want to do something to eat, but we could certainly be on our way. Unless there's further damage you wish to do here at the Bar Cascade.
Damage? She will, though, pause long enough to druidcraft a pink, in full, just about to bloom rose and hand it to the barkeep and say, "For your sisters."
Thank you. She definitely shows a lot of appreciation to that.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I wouldn't think to do that. I don't think I can do it anyway.
It's a girl thing. You just wouldn't understand.
Alright, coming back, there is another tavern that you will see, this little bigger one here called the Courageous Fool. What's up with that? That one right there is the Courageous Fool.
Do we need to do further research, or...
There are a number of shops all over the place. Herbalist shops, breweries, carpentries, jewelry shops, all that stuff like that going on.
So you said you needed a shield, right?
I already bought one. It probably would have been one of the first stops. Just a plain shield. I don't need one, but if I fight Azerian, I want my armor class to be as high as possible.
Fight Azerian, that's going to be the least of our problems, but yeah.
Right here, this building on the far end next to the river is where houses the city's Red Guard, where a lot of those men that you see with the Spartan look are.
I personally have seen what I need to see, but I trust Alecto to decide where we go here. He's much better at this stuff than I.
Has there been any impression in anything that we have seen throughout the city? Granted, I know we were being showed a very curated tour, I'm sure, but was there anything that suggested that there's anything other than the image of the city that we've been portrayed? Like, it's a thriving city. The folks seem happy enough. Has there been any sort of crack in that veneer that we have seen?
Not the way I know what you're kind of looking at, but
Sure.
New Greyheim has some nuances of a much more hardened city.
Yep.
The size of the guard, some of the broken down temples, in that regard there's a couple other things that probably would seem a little bit more, the way the city is compacted tight and things. Obviously a lot of taverns that are part of this city.
I would say that as we're continuing our tour, one thing I'm going to definitely be keeping an eye on are the ravens and crows that you may see at the tops of buildings. I'm looking for anything that seems to be more than meets your eye about a regular bird. Like, do they seem to be, I know it's going to be tough to kind of discern, like, do I keep seeing the same bird over and over again? I would imagine that the birds should be largely ignoring us. I mean, there's nothing... So is there anything that does not seem to be ignoring us as we're walking through town? Yeah, maybe that's the better question. is there anything as we're going around town? Is there anybody or anything that seems like it is paying special attention to us being walked around the town?
Give me a perception check,
Absolutely.
and we'll place it off of that.
I'll piggyback off of that because Cass would probably want to. If there are ravens and crows and stuff around, she probably would want to pay attention to see if any of them are not natural.
Well, I got my natural one out of the way for the evening, so.
Very overwhelming. Go ahead, Cassie, roll.
That'll be a 17. Oh, you want investigation? You want animal handling? Or...
No, perception. It's perception.
Oh, perception. Oh, no, that's still a 17.
Okay. I like how it's just there are a lot of birds. They're bouncing around. There are clothes hanging off clotheslines. It's a busy, big city. Like I said, it's not a rosy city, sort of Boston.
There's just a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's not like a Boston. There's some good aspects of it. There's some definitely rough and tumble, compact parts of it. There's definitely trash build-up. There'll be bums that you see, homeless people for sure. But nothing seems out of the ordinary. And it's hard to pick up if anyone's watching you because, unfortunately, you're walking around with 4 members of the Queen's Red Curtain. So they alone seem to attract attention. Like, most people are like, look at them, then look at you, then look away. Type of thing. And it's hard to kind of read more into that as you're kind of going in and they're kind of pointing to places. Hey, this is the Coliseum, this is the herbalist shop, that's over there, there's another one of the taverns, so blah. So you're seeing quite a bit. They're talking. It doesn't seem anything out of the ordinary. And I'm going to give you guys a part that you're with the Queen's Guard. Do you feel like if anyone was spying on you, these 4 fuckers would probably be the ones that would be the first one to report? They don't have to get any trickier than what they're already up to. And again, if you think that they're thralls, they're probably pretty heightened already compared to what you guys are used to, and could easily eavesdrop if that was their intent. But the Queen has been nothing but open to you guys, allowing you a lot of freedom of movement. And a lot of the lore says otherwise, and especially what you experienced in Hollowdale. This could get very confining, but you don't seem like they have that threat about you to kind of go through a lot of countermeasures.
I have a couple questions. So, first, the reactions from the crowd as we walk around with these guard is people are reacting as I would have seen them react if I was escorting someone around Kylos back in the day.
You may roll insight with advantage.
What about my birds?
The birds just seem like they're not close enough for you to think that they're anything but normal birds. They don't seem to be doing
15?
anything funky, whatever. What was that?
15?
Okay. You, Sai, don't feel like that you're getting the reaction of these guys are like, ooh, wow, look, like we would feel like proud to see one of the elite champions. Like these peaceful people are petrified. That's why they said they see you, and don't want I don't want to be noticed, type of thing.
So there's more of a fear factor.
There is definitely a fear factor, yeah.
Okay. I don't like that, but my second question is: this place is definitely in better shape than before I went to hell, right? From reports that I know of.
That you know of, you don't remember you've never been in the city, so there's nothing to really counter anything like this, except knowing that they're ruined temples. That's the only thing that definitely would report as not good. But, and you just heard that Hades wasn't allowed to reform. Other than that, everything seems pretty normal. The poverty could be the same. Like I said, there's still homeless people. There's still definitely low-grade housings and things of that sort. I mean, the city isn't what people would say was St. Augustine.
Okay. And the last question is there any any overt uses of magic around. Any hidden uses of magic around. I got Arcana at a pretty high level, so
Hidden?
I would definitely. Yeah.
Like you try to find that people don't allow to use the magic. Sorry, magic.
No, like wards I might see to keep people from going to certain areas, or Big Brother, as it were. Because sensors of scrying actually create a spot that you have a chance to see.
You would definitely see many wards throughout the city, from alarms to countermount traps. Traps to say keep out. I mean, there are signs and warnings, and these are like certain places, like the Colosseum. Definitely, is like certain areas are loaded with them. They tell people not to go close. There are slaves there.
That makes sense.
Like the red, where the Red Guard is, there's wards on that place. Nothing that you wouldn't put uncharacteristic to a mage putting to a high place. You don't see anything shady, but again, you're not really being brought to any place where a seedy guild would be.
No, but I'm also curious. It was curious as to if restrictions were being made upon the general populace through magic.
Nope, they seem to be. I mean, there's a Temple of Soap, and you just met a person who's a mage who owned a tavern, so they don't seem to be doing anything to them.
Right. That's cool.
Yep, I'm just putting things in context for you. That's all.
Yep.
That's cool. All right. So you guys are brought back. You guys are chill and cool. All right. You will have dinner with the Queen, and the Queen will say that tomorrow Azerian will arrive. You may have court with him at 5 p.m. and he'll meet you in his receiving hall, so to speak, his throne room.
Okay.
We look forward to it, Your Majesty. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So again, moving time. Is there anything you guys wish to do in that time for tonight till the day?
I think we're all set on the plan, right? The plan has not changed.
I think we're good.
We have a plan A and a plan B.
After she retires to her room, Ben, Cass will do what I told you she did last night. She's going to do it again.
Okay.
And maybe because she's a little restless for about 2, maybe 3 hours before she goes to bed, she might turn into an orange cat and go down to the barn and hunt.
Okay. It is a frustrating hunt. There are no rats in this castle at all.
Not even in the stables in the barn where there's food.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. Not a single one.
That was a waste.
You know what? Now that you're moving around, though, give me an insight at advantage because you're an animal.
You are being hunted.
That's a 21.
Okay. You don't feel right as a cat here. You just sense death. You sense unnaturalness. It is out of elements. It is out of what you would seem calm. As a cat, your hypersenses should be picking up insects, the bugs. It doesn't look like rats have been in this place for a long time. And you just feel an uneasiness. The shadows seem colder as you think about them. As you continue to explore, your tail, the hair on the back of your neck, of your cat's neck, is just standing upright. Everything just seems dangerous as you move about.
Does it feel like it gets worse the longer I'm in wild shape?
Yes.
Then I won't be out there for 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
I will cut it short.
Okay. You come back, and as soon as you turn back in your normal Genasi form, you don't feel that anymore.
Great.
But as a druid, as you sit there now and contemplate the situation, besides the ravens that are outside the castle walls and stuff, you don't remember seeing a lot of animals. There were some dogs, but there weren't many stray cats. Like, there were 1 or 2 that you saw. A lot of dogs. But again, also, you saw, like, no, there's no rats in the castle. There just isn't a lot of other little things that you would feel. Like there would still be some crickets, the way things kind of go. It just seems... That's why you just felt, when you went to that cat form, those are things that you remember feeling close to cemeteries.
Great. Okay.
The morning arises. You guys will eat again amongst yourselves. Again, you guys are all set?
Yep.
It's kind of a calm, quiet breakfast. Spend a little time just kind of like peering out the castle. The Earthheart Estate is fabulous. It is definitely an epitome of wealth. There is a lot with the history there. There's a lot of lineage, things that seem to... You feel like it wants a lot of things that were, like, for you somehow less. There is parts of it with the lore on the tapestry that felt like Kylos. Like this, it was a proud dynasty that enjoyed its part of the lineage and stuff. So it's kind of weird that a Greystoke also, you know, definitely seemed to embrace more of this, these people of the city, and this royal family to kind of like be a part of that. It seems to continue on with its own part of its own legacy and things. But from what you guys hear, there's been a little changing of places and names, and the staff seems to be a little bit of a buzz, but people are more and more accepting. They really are accepting of the king and queen. As you quietly kind of like just continue to calm and check the area, you are summoned again by the queen's red curtain. It is the afternoon time for you to meet with the king. They will bring you into a large room filled with red tapestries, much more plain, nothing more with any more symbolism and stuff. But each of the top of them, there are ravens and like black star balls that are lined in between each of the things. So like raven, starball, things like that on the top of all these tapestries. There are a number of other members that seem to be Spartans, very well armored. They have the red shields, but and with the red tapestry below that. And then a very imposing man in the blackest plate mail armor you could possibly imagine. Intricate runes adorn it. Do any of you speak Undercommon? No? I like that?
No.
Okay.
I speak Draconic, but not Undercommon.
Same.
The runes seemed elvish, but they definitely seem of a dark, foreboding script. But you're definitely sure it is enchanted. A magnificent...
I speak Elven. Does it look like it could possibly be the language of the Drow?
Yes.
Okay.
And he has a magnificent sword on his, resting nearby at this throne. A beautifully long, elegant red cape on the back, but then spread out. Similar to what the men have, but it is definitely blood red in color. Kind of holding his fingers together, such as this, he goes, "Welcome, captains.
Electo would bow deeply at the waist Your Majesty.
Your king is disposed. He said he had to leave early, which is fine. I wish to have treated him more, but it is said that you can speak for him as his ambassadors. Is this correct?
Yes.
Well, as you know, I have history with your old king. What is it that I could do to satisfy the ambassadors of Kylos?
It is, in fact... so I'll look to, first of all, Cascade and Sai as I begin to speak, and see if either of them interrupt me. Yeah. Your Majesty, it is indeed your history that we wish to discuss with you this evening, although not the history that you have with the King of Kylos. Your history, Your Majesty. To be blunt, we travel this far to speak with you under the fear of the point of your sword. We can dispense with any formalities or any niceties that would obfuscate the fact that that is not the situation, that we are in the grips of a war between the nation that you are building and the nation of King Killian.
Captain
Carlos.
Electo, I must say, your reputation does not precede much of what you have established here. I like that you're very forward. Ismay said that your men were very loyal to you. I like men who can capture the passion of the people that serve them. That they will do everything to see their beliefs done.
You flatter me, Your Majesty.
Your reputation does that, Captain. And you have gone through hell and back to make it so.
I have. With my friend here, and he will gesture at Simantilus.
My history is a bit fractured, though. Apparently there is more to me that now may never pass, or some form. I am unsure what Hades does to the history of the realm that is left behind. And apparently that is your desire to bring that up. For exactly how is my history to benefit this war in your favor?
We also recognize that your history is somewhat fractured. And under a banner of friendship, we come to ask you to consider an alternative, which may indeed heal that fracture. A fracture that isn't even really yours, isn't even really your father's, your grandfather's, but your great, am I getting that right, great-grandfather? 3 generations back? However many generations it would be.
Yeah.
It was like, I would keep going back to go ahead and basically
I think it's great-grandfather, but I'm not...
Yeah, I thought so too, yeah. But the fracture which cracked the great Greystoke family line at its very origins.
What are you implying, Captain? No one has brought that name up in generations to me.
Your Majesty, if my reputation truly precedes me, then you know that we take the time to know who it is we speak to.
Alright. Not many bring my old blood to bear against me. unless they are of that blood themselves. So
I
how
assure
would
you,
my
and-
great-grandfather employ business of my doings now? Do you wish to bring him back to me?
No. But perhaps you would be willing to go back to him.
You're going to send me back in time to the very first landing of the Greystokes in Alanis.
Perhaps not the first landing, but perhaps the first departure, or the last departure.
The last departure. I have not been riddled so confusingly before, ever. What are you talking about, Captain?
Fabulous. So, Ben, when he says that, I would like to use my panache ability, and I would like to call for an insight check from him.
Okay.
The DC on it is going to be 33.
Wow. He definitely is indeed confused to what you're talking about. It seems like there's a history that he either wasn't told or never researched, but he is definitely not following what you're putting down.
Yeah. So just
33.
just to go ahead and for in full disclosure, panache allows me to go ahead and call for an insight check from him against a persuasion check from me. I rolled a 19 on the die for a 33 DC on that, so he's charmed by me. And vampire lords are not immune to charm. I looked it up.
You looked it up.
I checked.
Regular vampire lords aren't.
Sure, totally. But if nothing else, my silver tongue is at least having him feed out of my mouth.
You have him where you want him.
Exactly.
For sure.
Your Majesty, I would ask you to enter the Thought Palace in an era where timelessness and the universe and the multiverse is before you. And imagine a realm which the histories have named Corvair. Cormier. That one. Sorry, wrong. I was listening to Eberron earlier.
Okay. No, it's all good.
Yeah, no, we could send him to Eberron too. That's fine. But yeah, to a realm which the histories call Cormier, and that apparently your family has lost history there.
I actually should have brought this guy up a little bit more. Hold on a second. He sits back for a second.
If we and the arcane mystics, which we have consulted on such a thing, have found a way to allow you to be undoubtedly the greatest of your family, undoubtedly the one who is able to repair the irreparable, we would do this for you. We would aid you here. And we would ask only for peace in return.
My father never told me many tales of his father and his father before him. Captain, when I came into my place, I had to fight to prove who I was, prove my name. I had to kill for it. I had to convince many around me that I was indeed the blood of the famous Razan Greystoke. But that was all to establish the kingdom in which he reside, and the family that he wished to lay down there. Of my grandfather's place, I know only of something of the elves. What would I do of my knowledge or ability to go there that I could not earn anywhere else I'm already at.
I guess that would be a decision based in the infinities themselves, Your Majesty. You could do whatever you wanted. And everyone would know that the name of Azerian would live on the lips of every Greystoke to follow. You would truly be legendary. And for many reasons beyond the reasons why your greatness precedes you now. For many reasons why any of those great Greystokes that came before you could have been known. You will do the impossible. You will repair the irreparable.
Return to where your family came from, essentially.
The light of this is to go to a place to punish elves that wronged my grandfather long ago.
If that's what you wish.
It isn't sort of enticing, but I have such a campaign brewing here, and the goddesses enjoy what I do for them.
So you seek no further joys than those?
I always seek what I need. But battle...
do you ever seek what you want?
Give me a persuasion check on that one. You have advantage.
I will definitely
have...
let him roll this one at disadvantage. Can I roll an advantage instead?
You have an advantage, yes, because you have him dazzled a bit.
You said persuasion?
Persuasion, yes.
26.
Oof. He definitely is now, like, he's got that crime lord king smoothing of his cheek. What do I want?
You would be able to go someplace where you didn't have to worry about the will of gods.
Most places have the will of the gods. I doubt Faerun would be any different in their land of Cormyr. They would just be different gods. Ones I have little reputation with. And I have my own realm, which I have more power to. But I would be free of that. Would I, Captain?
Indeed. The trappings which bind you here would fall away.
And we would seal the gate behind you so that the realm couldn't chase you.
The wizard leans into him and whispers. Does anyone read lips?
I have Thieves' Cant.
This is not Thieves' Cant. It'd have to be observant feet, read lips.
Wrong character.
Okay. He says something to the king. The king goes, really?
Your Majesty, since we are meeting under the banner of friendship, can we do away with the secrecy?
Well played, Josh. My mage, Leandros, says there is tales of a lich freeing himself from the realm. That it is indeed possible for me to be free of the Dread Realm. If I were to go to this place, would I be able to return here?
No. Not in under our understanding.
Why is that?
Because we would take care, much like we would take care that the realm could not follow you, that severs your connection to the realm and your ability to return. My understanding, I am not a great wizard, so perhaps Heraphestus at your ear may provide further context, but that is my understanding.
I slide forward a little bit to show that I want to interject and say, if you were to come back here, the realm would simply trap you again. Why would you want to come back here once you're free of it? It's going to take a lot to free you from this realm, which sounds like what you want. It's going to take the most powerful magics Cascade and I have to do so. And that would not just free you of the realm, but free the garden of the grip of the realm as well.
I see. You are worried that the Dread Realm will do what it has done to me. Find a new suitor.
Ideally, there are none here to latch onto.
In the War of the Garden, they would have to be very dire. My queen has not yet done such deeds. But there are others following in a much more interesting suit.
We would end the war in the garden by dispersing the Dread Realm and ushering in an era of peace. You have brought this town massive wealth and success. Kylos does well as well. We could turn and aid Locket, Ashgate, Sunkle, and bring them up as well, and return Hollowdale to the people. Banish the mists. Find an era of peace in the Garden Fire. Turn to fight the Lich King to the west.
The Lich King and I have an accord. It is sort of a life debt, seeing as he brought me to being. Maximor wanted his own playthings to do in the West, and he granted me the Empire of the Garden, something he was ready to leave behind, since the dealings for his mother had gone not quite the way he wished, bringing the rest of us back, and not her.
It gives me hope to hear that you are interested in receiving such gifts, Your Majesty. Hopefully, you will consider ours.
There is always things to understand. I am not a blindless beast that goes into two things and destroys, like my old friend Curse. All angles must be entertained and analyzed.
There is little doubt you are a brilliant strategist and a very smart man. But so long as the realm has you trapped here, it brings darkness on everyone around you and yourself.
I am aware of this. It is why, to strive as large as I have. And I must say that your ploy is not one that has been similar to heroes in the past, in the deeds of Alanis of the great names, which I thought bringing them here would be sort of an inspiration to the legacy and the history that we would be building upon our conflicts. Are you afraid to fight, Sai?
I am not afraid to fight, but I recognize a losing war when I see it.
You wish to protect the innocents.
Yes, I wish to see the good people live free. I've seen too much manipulation from these gods, too, or lack of attention from the other gods. And now this dread realm causing darkness. Just the people are forgotten.
So only I would go back to Faroon to restart from scratch, to rebuild an empire. This is going to be done in time, before my great-grandfather showed up to the shores of Alanis? Or is this in the current time?
I don't... Sai actually looks contemplative and he's like, I don't know about the time aspect. Planar travel can be tricky. I'm wondering, Ben, I want an Arcana check. I actually look at his mage next to him, like I'm thinking out loud at him, like, help me out here. I don't actually know. I'm gonna roll Arcana and see what I got.
He seems pretty complex too. He doesn't know. Like, what we're talking about is definitely not normal.
Yeah, I rolled a 12, so I'm like,
Okay.
I'll be honest, Your Majesty. Timing would be difficult. We would have to add the person who I just going to refer to walked out of the room.
Yeah, I would say collectively for a while though, just to kind of help out. It can be done, but you don't think it is with the spell power that you're utilizing. It would normally be done normally. The only thing that you kind of sort of heard of, I would say maybe in passing, was the hero group when they talked about leaving the Feywoods. Remember that was a couple times that was talked about here and there. So that's the only thing that you would think that would have anything to do with time travel, and that has nothing to do with really a teleporting spell. It would just be leaving the Fey Forest.
Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom.
No worries.
That's okay. Honestly, Your Majesty, my best knowledge of how this spell would work would be to bring to a near current time frame on that prime material plane, but we don't know how time has passed differently between there and here.
There is a timelessness about the realm that we find ourselves in that may or may not intersect with that other realm in strange ways. This entire existence of generations on generations on generations could have happened in a moment. There's no way to really know.
And we already know you've been pulled through time because there is histories of you that we've read that are obviously not what you are now.
I will turn back the question you did to me onto you to weigh in on my choice. I understand that you do it for the people. But why are you here in imminent danger with the being that I am? That you would take your time to propose this desperate plan, enticing option. What do you benefit from this personally? And he looks to you first, Electo.
Who first?
Electo.
Me, yeah. Electo will close his eyes, and then when he opens them, I believe that you accepting this offer as we lay it at your feet is the best way to assure that I get to return to my family. It's the same offer that we're offering you. So I ask you not to consider me, but the people that I have left behind.
Then he looks at you, Sai.
How would it benefit me? This Dread Realm would be gone. Everybody would be that much safer. It's that simple.
I understand the people, Sai. But where does that leave you?
What would I do if you were to leave? I haven't thought that far. Maybe... Oh, no. I would go, return to Kylos, do my best to help the king, and then head west to help HK with his war against against shit, why am I forgetting the name all of a sudden? It's flew out of my head. Maximal. How would that help me? I don't know. I'm a warrior. I live from moment to moment.
And you, Cascade.
Well, you didn't like his answer, but similarly to Mr. Sai, I need to help the land here bouts. And once I cleaned it and made it natural again, I'd have to go fight and help the land to the west.
I think you'll find none of us have high personal aspirations. We all know what we are. A Lecto, a family man, a warrior, and a druid of Link.
My concern is to take the choice to start over again. You're asking a lot of me. Not that I cannot do it. I am just unsure of my aspirations to redeeming a lost slight to my family. If I have no family to demonstrate my loyalty back to. If you are saying that I would be there eternity.
We would certainly make sure that as our worlds collide, that your name is written and spoken about for the sacrifice that we are asking you to make.
And do you even have other family here other than what you've married into, obviously?
I have a new cousin. He is the one you wish to fight for in the West.
HK?
And he has children. The Greystoke line is beginning to blossom. Such is what the Raven Queen tells me.
So what do you aspire to?
I have aspired to be the greatest conqueror that the Greystokes have ever known. Anyone
From what I
else?
remember reading in the histories, the Greystokes weren't conquerors at all. They were heroes.
Oh, au contraire. They took over cities, influenced them. They made sure that each of the cities were aligned in allegiance. Conquering cities, my friend Samalas, does not always paved in blood. It can be paved in pen and paper.
Well, that would be a politician. A conqueror does so at the tip of a sword. A politician does so at the point of a quill. A conqueror leads through fear. A politician through compromise and understanding the people beneath him. You really want to be the one who leads from the point of a sword?
I have.
Sounds like the easy road for a vampire lord.
It was. The other parts were much harder. But there are tactics that I learned, I employed even here, from things that I know. Again, knowing the pen and paper, as well as understanding those that believe in blind faith.
Faith. Faith is what got us here.
That's the
Blind
truth.
faith.
It is funny in the realms that are fickle, that it is what faith causes us to war. For if it wasn't for the faith of those that believe in Tyr, the very first chosen one, if they did not have the morals they had, and much more open to people being human, would not Silk never ever become part of the realm?
That's a bit further back in the history than I.
But it is the source of it all. As you come back to my source, I come back to what the gate that you're wishing to seal.
So can I ask you this question? This is a simple one. Do you wish to be free of the Dread Realm?
I do.
Do you see another way to do it other than our option?
I do not.
But I understand your reluctancy to leave what you've built and the family you've gathered. So you don't want to leave here.
Your words are spoken with more nobility, Samaralis. You're right. Greystoke would not fear such things. I must be bold like my fathers. They have started from nothing before and built great cities. But I will leave a protection upon what I have already built. My queen will remain, and I will be satisfied with that, since you no longer really serve King Killian. I will have you serve my queen.
I would be honored to guide her along the path that I walk.
You will serve the queen in her wishes. That is my boon request. Is if I am to sacrifice myself, you shall do the same.
That's a reasonable request. Although, I don't wish to become like you, no offense.
You will not have to drink of her blood. I will make her promise that. But I know you are an honorable being, from what I have heard. So your word will be your bond of honor. You will keep the queen alive and help her reign in the Garden of the Gaia.
Okay?
And in fairness, I will ask the queen to never assault the walls of Kylos. I will leave Kylos, and I hear Lockett has served in your alliance. Your two cities will remain independent from my empire, or her empire.
I don't have a problem with any of that.
Then you will become one of the Red Curtain. You'll be captain of her guard.
Had that job before. Pretty good at it.
Excellent. Electo,
Your Majesty.
Captain. You have made the promise that my name shall never be forgotten.
Indeed.
I wish you to swear upon the land that forever your days you will make of my name as the Great Greystoke, that you will make sure my legacy and legend is beyond any have heard before.
For as long as my breath passes these lips, this story will be known.
You are filled with energy, that you now know that you are magically bound to such things. You feel like something infused you. I take it, Cascade, you are the one to cast this ritual spell.
Yes, sir. Your Majesty, Highness, sir.
Then if you are coming, you are coming. We will do this at midnight tomorrow. I must make sure the Queen understands her parameters, and my men. Do we have an accord?
Your Majesty, I ask one question. Are the terms of the accord to be considered in effect? You would not be so brazen as to attack Kylos this evening before the arrangement takes place.
I do not wish my captain...
Men of protocol wish to clarify terms.
You are wise indeed, Captain. I do not wish to break the heart of my captain of the guard when I am going to leave a precious interest of mine in his hands.
I appreciate your discretion, Your Majesty. Thank you.
Well, with that, I think you guys will escort leave. Take it nothing else really changes. Moving forward to the next night, you guys are solemn, preparing, maybe kind of saying a little bit of this and that about where you'll be, but all things are good. You guys should be all leaving together as soon as this ritual is done. He is agreeing. He has fallen for the restart to at least remove himself from the Dread Realm's power. The ceremony is vast. There are braziers lit. This is done in one of the major court halls of the Greyheart estate. He is there. They have kind of put a circle. It's not a pentagram. It's just a circle. There are priests in red robes circling around. They seem to be like of all the other gods, but deities in service, but they are all in red for this particular ceremony for all of you. And you're waiting there, Cascade in the circle, you two kind of like just watching from the side. Azerian will come in. He is once again adorned in his full regalia, plate mail. It has been highly polished, his red cape, his sword. He walks down, hands the crown to his wife, the Queen, dons his magnificent helm in plate. They sort of have little bat wings on the side. And he strodes, mail slightly clanking, even though it should be much louder. It is not as loud, and he is quiet as he walks in. Through helm he goes, Captain Cascade, you may begin the spell. You may do for this realm, this service. I remove myself as king of New Greyheim. But in my time, I have built the legacy of my forefathers here. I have left that the Greystokes shall be honored and remembered as I have known them, and I have made my name for them my sole purpose. And it is that sole purpose and sacrifice of my fathers and grandfather that I take this trip, the trip to the land where they first began before the Queen of the Goddess trapped my bloodline here. We shall restart things anew. And with that, he takes both your hands, Cascade, sort of kind of raises them up so you can begin doing the spell that you need to take each of you away.
And she takes one action and casts Planar Shift.
Okay.
And they disappear.
Spell goes on. She does all her somatics. The energy changes. You can see, Cascade, it's a fight. Like the realm is sensing what you're doing. I need you to make an Arcana check.
Arcana? That's not exactly my thing.
Then, as soon as they step through, I intend to cast Beats,
Yep.
which is longer.
Arcana is 7.
You are sweating, pouring. Two levels of exhaustion go through you as you're just twisting the fabric, forcing himself. But he is willing. He seems to sort of empower that you're changing, but the realm knows it does not want to let him go. But you fight through it. You are a Titan of Silk. She seems to infuse you with this power. Like now it's a reservoir coming to you. And you push through. And there you see the Druid Cascade, the captain of the Heart of the Mermaid, and the King of New Greyheim are no longer in the center of the circle. The Queen kisses the crown, and she goes, "Be in peace, my love. I do understand the need to heal the past. But I shall reign New Greyheim in your image." And she turns, and a couple of the red curtain guards begin to escort her. Simalis, do you follow?
I need to cast Gate Seal, which takes a minute.
So you there, watch her go, and then you cast Sealing, and then you feel that removal. And as the Queen walks, she gasps, hitting. She looks at you. What have you done? What? Is this the intention all along? Is his realm removed from us?
The Dread Realm?
Is that it?
That's what we were hoping for, so that we may all live free of it.
It is free. I feel it, Captain. I don't feel him anymore. And we fade away. The realm forms. The bubble opens up. You look. You are in a realm. It is dusky, dark. There is a luminous, black castle. Fortified. Mighty, mighty, tall walls. You're disoriented, Cascade. You are tired. You are gasping as the spell ends. And there's a pressure on your throat. A anger as you're seized. And he goes, "Witch, this is not a place that is unfamiliar to me. This is a place I know. Why have you brought me here to the realm you said I was leaving?" And with that, we end the chapter of the War of the Garden.
Jen, you know we're gonna have to deal with it. Okay? You just brought Azerian to the other freaking game.
I didn't know that
I
until
love hearing-
after he told me last weekend when we visited him, and I had already made my decision, and he locked me in stone.
Oh,
Well done, guys.
well, I guess he'll meet other members of his family in Alanis again.
Mm-hmm.
Cascade didn't want to make other people suffer that had never known him before.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That
it was
I wrestled with a little bit.
when it got into Jen's head that she would basically be unleashing him in Faroon. She just couldn't stomach it, so she was like, "I'm gonna put him back to where he belongs." But she had a great feeling that she was going to get stuck. And again, thank you, Jen, for letting me play the theater to this. I think this leaves a much more question marks. And I have no problem kind of playing some of your ideas off just to see, but I want you to know I'm going to twist the fuck out of you. So, yeah, this is going to be one that that you and now are going to enjoy the legacy of forever, as long as we continue to play together.
I put my stamp on Spero.
You sure the hell have. Yeah.
You absolutely did, Jen. You absolutely did.
Art and Josh are going to enjoy this.
We've all done it.
Yeah, we all have done it. This is exactly how these campaigns will be played out and portrayed. But bravo.
The long line of players ahead of you that could have just done the thing to end it all and chose to do something else and not tell anybody till they fucking did it.
Yep. You guys are all supporting. Yay, she did it! It's good! It's good! Yay!
So Phil just sat up straight out of a dead sleep.
Yeah. I hope everyone still following along this. This is sort of my legacy. I know this has been brought up on Tabletop Journeys quite a bit, but I hope for anyone who finds this channel and has followed through a lot of this, it's just one of those. It's the fun, it's the hard things, but this, there are a lot of combat. Obviously, I don't play a lot of combat, but it's this type of RP. To have a player make this type of choice that leaves a legacy that, in my past, in my history, these are what they all talk about for 10, 20 years that I go, oh yeah, I remember when that player did that and why and how you guys all felt about those choices. And you will see this legacy continue. This is about choices and consequences. I think that's what life is all about, and it's fun to play characters that would make poor choices sometimes. But I think Cascade made one of the most heroic choices of all. And I think definitely going out a hero like this is fantastic.
Did you drop over the Azerian keep?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yeah. Castle Azerian. So it's actually.
I do, and I told Ben this in the chat, in private chat already. I have one big, huge disappointment about this whole thing. When I made Cascade, I gave her a bottle of Dragon's Breath because I thought it would be scary as fuck to be some sort of animal, a flying, a giant eagle that spouts fire, and I never got to use it.
Well, here's the thing, Jen. As we end this, and I want to say goodbye to people who did watch this or just watch this part of the campaign. Killing's too easy. I'd say you were dead.
Oh, yeah. No. You'd have to deal with Cass, too, Jen.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cass
no.
gonna be a bit twisted. Because, it sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He pissed off Azerian.
Thank you, everyone. I will try to get the other chapters up. I am trying to get the players in place, and as soon as I can get all that stuff up and rolling, you will find out where our other members from the original streams of Spero are, what they're doing. I have a couple of quicker ones, which Josh is part of as well, and then we will hopefully get some of those resolved until all of it is to its conclusion. But the war, if you're also looking for something else, I do Old Ways of Spero, and that still has a long journey ahead to go. So if you need to follow me, those are the places to check for my games. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
So the real